Hey friends, it's Jasmine. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've never really talked about before other than with my best friends and like my mom a little bit, but like other than that I haven't, because I don't really know if anyone on like any of my followers are interested in this kind of stuff, but I kind of wanted to put it on here so I could like document this, but also I know that some other people are interested in this stuff. So I'm shooting for you. Anyways, enough with the intro, let's get into my story. Alright, so basically ever since I was a kid, like probably starting at around age 8 or something, I've been curious as to why we're here. Like just always kind of questioning, why are we here? Where do we come from? Where are we gonna go? And really, what's the meaning to life? Because I'm sure that everyone has kind of wondered that at some point. At that time, no one really talked about it, and none of my, like, well, my friends do, but no one else really, like, talks about it anymore, like, asks these questions, like, where did we come from? What's the meaning to life? So, for me, being younger, I was really confused, like, I thought I was missing something, because I thought that everyone else kind of knew something that I didn't, because just no one ever asked, so I was wondering, like, then how come I'm thinking this way, but no one ever actually comes out and like asks any of these things. So I don't want to, because I don't want to look dumb, but I also just don't want to talk about something that people don't care about. My mom, my whole life, has been like the only person, like the person from the beginning who's kind of thought the same way as me, because ever since I was younger, my mom's always kind of like been into like more astrology and stuff. Like, I remember one of the first books I had when I was little was like a little kind of like astrology book, and I remember just liking it because it was really cool pictures, but now I like that kind of stuff. And ever since I was little, she could just look at someone and like know their star sign, and like I've seen her do it, and it's really crazy. And I think that maybe part of me thinks that like maybe I got this kind of like spiritual thing from her, because, you know, blood, it could run through blood. And then in this past year, me and my mom and my older brother have all been kind of like talking about how this year has been more like spiritual, because we've never actually really talked about it before, other than it being like casual thing, I guess, like reading your horoscope or whatever. But then I found spirituality, and they kind of like were talking about other stuff. So like my brother was telling us how like just in the past year he's been really like connected more to like everything, like his soul, and like just knowing things, I guess. And my mom, when I was telling my mom that I had like a spiritual awakening kind of thing, she was telling me that really over the past little bit she's been feeling that kind of way too, and she thinks it's probably something with like the stars. But regardless, it's good because I found spirituality, and that's cool. So just a little backtracking. Before, I was kind of like into this, like really knowing how I wanted to feel or whatever. I was into healing crystals, and I still am, but like before that I have like a lot on my desk and like just around my room everywhere, because that's just something I like. I feel like part of me using healing crystals could have brought on this spiritual awakening, because a lot of the crystals that I use are either like spiritual crystals, third eye crystals, or like healing heart crystals, because those ones are just my favorite. And I feel like since I've been using those, that's when I started to kind of feel a stronger connection to like myself, like my soul, I guess. But then the third eye ones and the spiritual ones, I actually think over time could have helped, because every night I just sleep with a couple of crystals in my pillowcase, just because I think that's like good for healing, for what the rocks are meant for. And I feel like when you're sleeping, you're kind of the most in touch with both your minds, like your conscious and subconscious. So I really feel like the healing crystals do a lot at that kind of time, like when you're sleeping. So I feel like that could have had a big influence on it. Basically, like I said, my whole life I've always wondered what is out there, like what more, why are we here? And I think that kind of has had an impact on my struggle with depression and anxiety. For those of you who know that I have struggled with those things, this is kind of like where I'm kind of thinking some of it came from. So I'm kind of thinking that a lot of it came from was all my worry of like not only living life, but like death and everything like that, like just not not knowing is kind of the worst part, because then you're just stuck to wonder. And I really think that more than anything influenced my anxiety. The week before I had my real spiritual awakening is when I was having really bad anxiety problems and like self-image issues, I guess. It was just like a really bad week or two. And like 2 weeks before that, I started using like professional anxiety depression medication, just because like it just came to the point where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just getting way too hard. So then I decided to take the pills, which like, I don't know, it could have also influenced this like spiritual awakening. After that week happened, or a week or two, is when I had the actual like spiritual awakening, which I'll kind of talk about now. It was kind of like just a random night where I finally like had time to think, like time to myself after this terrible week. And really I was just kind of spending it like any other night, because I was just casually watching YouTube videos, like not even spirituality videos or anything, just like your average YouTube content. I had this thought that kind of like influenced the whole thing, I guess, and it was, we are spiritual beings in a human existence. And I got this idea that like every being, live being on this earth, like animals, humans together, like all of us, we have a soul, and the body that we're in is just kind of like the carrier for our soul. So basically your body, if you're human, being human was kind of the best way for you to learn love in life, which I think life is all about, is love. And then like say animals, maybe that was the best way that their soul could learn. And I got this just like profound random idea out of nowhere, and that's kind of where I started the spiral, because it just came so randomly, and I was like, if I wasn't even thinking of spirituality and this just came to me, it must mean something. Then I decided to meditate, because I was like, not only having that thought, but a lot of other thoughts is like kind of what I thought the meaning of life was now. And I still have my own version, so if you guys want to see a video on that, I did write it down when I was having all these thoughts, so just like comment below. Anyways, after I was having all those thoughts, I decided to meditate, because I just wanted to like really focus on those thoughts, kind of figure out where they were coming from or whatever. And keep in mind, I've meditated before, but like barely. Ever since this experience, I meditated like every day, almost some days more than once. It was kind of a lying down meditation where I had crystals on my third eye, my heart, and then 2 in my hands. And I just like laid down, and I didn't really have a set thing in mind other than I knew I wanted to figure out more. And when I started meditating, the scene in the beginning was me laying in a lake surrounded by like dead trees and like a gray sky. So in real life, it really felt like a connected experience. It felt like a connected experience because it felt like in real life my bed kind of was the ocean, if you know what I mean, and I felt in that setting. How this meditation vision I had kind of started was every single thing bad in the picture I would change to be a good thing. So for the lake, I changed it to like the clearest, most blue ocean, and the sky became blue, like not a cloud in the sky kind of deal. And then the dead trees turned into every sort of tree, and they were like blossoming and green and like had flowers and everything. And then a shark turned into a turtle, and the turtle was like the foundation of all of this. And then the final thing that happened, like there were others, but this is the final thing that really kind of stuck out to me. I don't know why, but it's just always in my mind when I'm like thinking about everything. And that is this giant tiger swimming towards me. So I know all this sounds kind of crazy, but this is really what happened. So this tiger is swimming towards me, and I of course think that it's going to attack me or something like that, just because I feel like, I'll get to this after, but just because that's kind of what everything was. But then instead of attacking me, I kind of rode this tiger back to land, like it saved me from being in the ocean, and it rode me back to land. So kind of what I interpreted from all of this in this huge meditation process is that I have the ability to change all the things in my life that I see as negative to positives, because good and bad are just man-made ideas. Like, they don't really exist. You don't have to make something bad. As bad as a situation can be, it really is a man-made idea, because people choose their own path. So for me, this was kind of showing me that every bad situation I can make good, kind of showing me that I have anxiety, but I don't want to have it, and it kind of told me, like, I can fight this, like, I should fight this. After all of this and my, like, profound of, like, the meaning in life and, like, connecting to the spirit, I found this quote later on, and I put this in my Instagram bio, so I'm gonna go read it so I don't mess it up. And the quote says, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in a drop." And to me, this means, like, you're not just, like, a small speck in this huge, vast, like, earth with, like, the land and the ocean and even the entire universe. It means that you are the universe in the sense that you are love. Like, you have love in you. You are knowledge, and you are power, and you are everything. You are the whole universe in the sense that you have all of these things that are in the universe. It is inside of you, and that really made me see, like, just everything in a perspective different than the egotistical, like, society-ridden thing that I already had in my mind, I guess. This kind of also made me realize that I should stop really caring about what people think of me, like, negative or good. Like, well, good I want to think about, but the negative things I just kind of really stopped hating people for, because I kind of realized that, oh, well, people are going to have their own opinions and it's not going to agree with mine, but we're all here for the same thing, whether some of us know it or not. We're all here to just learn and, like, learn from our experiences and mistakes and just love. Like, really, life is about love, and I just don't want to push any more hate on these people, no matter what they're pushing to me. I also learned that self-love is the most important love, because everything comes from within inside you. So if you ever have, like, a really good emotion that you know is probably caused by something you like doing, even though the emotion's caused by that one thing, that emotion comes from you, and that is you. And, like, even though something may be influencing it, that emotion is you. That's not the present you got, it's not your friends, it's you. And that kind of idea made me realize that I am important, because even though without all these people I might not be, like, feeling the best, I know that it's still, like, me inside of me. Like, that I sound crazy, but just knowing that that emotion is me, it just kind of makes me think that, like, you should just love yourself, because I don't know, it's just, you're just learning about yourself and you're learning about others, but I feel like you can't truly love others without loving yourself first. For me, I guess I said we're all here to love, like, that's what life's about, and self-love is the best love. It's the love you need, it's the love that's gonna get you by, because even if you didn't have all these people, you still have you. That's the most important thing. So I guess what I'm going to say now at the end is, if you've ever thought about spirituality, like, even just thought about it, not really, like, connected it with it or anything, but you've been at all interested, at least do some research about it, or, like, look it up, because for me, I feel like my spiritual awakening was kind of gradually throughout my whole life, and then, like, all at once kind of thing. And I know I still don't know all the answers. It was just the beginning of my, like, true path to, like, loving myself and, like, my soul and everything like that. But anyways, if you've ever thought about it, I think that you should at least give it some research, because not only is, like, the spirituality cool and whatever, it really helped with my anxiety and, like, depression and, like, self-loathing, I guess, even though sometimes those are still hard. Like I said, I haven't solved everything, so stuff is still hard a lot of the times, but it's very much easier and life's more enjoyable since I've kind of, like, found an answer to some of my questions that I've been thinking about for the past 17 years. I think I'm gonna end it there. Basically, that was just my first real encounter with, like, strong spirituality and how my mindset is kind of looking now, and I guess just what I think about it. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed that video. I really enjoyed filming it because I just want to talk about the things that I love, you know, like, that's kind of, like, what I want to do with my YouTube, is talk about the things I love, document my life and all my ideas. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below and all that fun stuff, and I hope you have an awesome day, week, month, year, decade, millennium, what comes next, afterlife. Yeah, but anyways, don't listen to me, and I hope you have a lovely life and that you find peace. Bye guys.